I actually walked away from being a welder for 25 years to let her have the restaurant so I could be here with her.
All across New Hampshire, small business owners are working towards a simple goal to grow their businesses, create jobs, and build a better future for their families and communities. But rising cost and uncertainty are making it harder to plan ahead. And if Congress lets key tax cuts expire, those barriers will only grow. Three small business owners have one message for Congress: don't take away the tools they need to succeed.
Hi, my name is Desmond Holman. My wife, Nipa Born Holman, and I own Dakun Thai in Manchester, New Hampshire, 93 South Maple Street. It's been her dream for a long time to have her own business, to have her own restaurant. She really loves to cook. So we opened up in 2017, and we have, for the past 6 years, we have been best Thai restaurant in Manchester. It is the only thing that we do. We don't have any other supplemental incomes of any kind. So how the economy runs has a real strong effect on how well we're doing. Uh, the so with the restaurant being my wife's dream, she came from a family in Thailand that had a whole generations of cooks. I mean, generation upon generation upon generation of cooks. Uh, Her aunt owns a restaurant in Karat. Her cousin owns a bakery shop in Karat. It's just they all cook. The whole family cooks. And when she first came here to live with me in the States 16 years ago, she began working at another restaurant, and she realized how well she could do. She wanted to have her own. And so I made her stay there for a few years to learn the ins and outs of the business so that she would know how a business in the States would be run. And then I actually walked away from being a welder for 25 years to let her have the restaurant so I could be here with her and keep it going. Now our eventual goal is to reach a point to where we have employees that run the restaurant, and we can retire. That's what we want. But those days are still a long ways away. We have been uh, low profits for the past 4 years. Our profits have been extremely low, almost non-recordable, and yet we've had to pay taxes, the business taxes. If the tax cuts are not renewed, the ones that were in place during his first administration, if they are not renewed, that's going to mean we're going to continue to struggle. Whether you know whether we can grow or not, that's remains to be seen. But we will certainly struggle, and we go from week to week with the money. The money goes from week to week. We don't really have a point that we can put money away and make the business grow. But if they do get renewed, things will turn around much faster, much faster.
So my name is Brian Labrie, and I own a couple businesses here in southern New Hampshire. One of which is a landscape company that I've had for 35 years. Another one's a portable sanitation company that I started 5 years ago. So in 1992, I graduated Bishop Girton in Nashua, New Hampshire. Immediately after coming out of high school, I went to Plymouth State College for 2 years. 2 years into college, I realized I wanted to start my own business, be an entrepreneur, and make some real money. I'd had enough of college at that point, and high school was almost like college anyways. Having said all that, I wasn't a Harvard grad. I knew how to work with my hands. My family came from a construction background, so I knew how to build stuff. And I knew landscape construction very well. I'd worked for guys going in high school. I worked all the way up. So I started my own business. I haven't looked back. We've had our ups and downs. Currently in southern New Hampshire, Merrimack, New Hampshire specifically, we have our headquarters. We've got over 22 trucks. We've got almost just as many people working for us. We've got a full staff of secretaries and accountants and over 1,100 customers. And what I can tell you is there's nothing more that I'd rather do any day of the week than wake up and be my own boss. I can do that without having to pay Uncle Sam a tremendous amount of taxes every year. It is super helpful in letting us plan for the future and reinvesting in the company, new equipment, new trucks, raises for the employees. What I can tell you is this: the Trump tax cuts that could potentially expire at the end of this year have helped me dramatically with my business. And I'll tell you how. They've allowed us to plan for the future. They've allowed us to reinvest in not only employees, but equipment. And most of all, they've allowed us to save money to plan for years that aren't so great. So there's a lot of, without having to pay income taxes, there's a lot of other opportunities we can use that money that we save to do special things. And all of these things wouldn't be possible without the Trump tax cuts. If we didn't have these tax cuts, I can tell you this: we'd have less employees, we'd be able to reinvest a lot less, our equipment would be older. Just the whole world that we live in today would change. Having quality tax cuts that are well planned and well thought out make the difference in any small business. Without tax cuts, it simply equals less options for small business owners. Less growth, less employees, less reinvestment. Tax cuts are critical for a small business. Without these tax cuts, we will not have enough money to reinvest for the future. We have to make sure tax cuts are secure and go with us moving forward into the future.
What is your name and your business?
My name is Brittany Ping. I am owner and property manager for our company Led to Commercial, and we also own a buy-sell real estate brokerage, Porcupine Real Estate.
And what motivates you to do what you do every single day?
So my background's all HR focused, and I got into that because I love kind of learning the compliance portion and then getting to help people within the framework of the law. And I get to do that every day in housing now as well.
And how has your business benefited from the Tax Cuts and Jobs Act when it was first enacted?
So it's like an overarching tax incentive for small businesses like ourselves, right? So LLCs or S corps, C corps. Really, it's an overall benefit where you are allowed to operate as an owner operator and experience some of the same cuts as larger businesses. So it's been really beneficial for us.
And how might your business be negatively impacted without renewing or extending the Tax Cuts and Jobs Act?
So a lot of our clients are also LLCs. So as there's less incentives for these investors that have, again, been, owner operating in their investments, we're going to see less and less business come our way. And so, we'll have to continue to shrink in size. Maybe we go down to bare bones where we have to lay off employees. I mean, it's kind of scary to think about what could happen.
Do you have a message for Congress? What would you like them to do?
I would say pass these tax cuts. We have been thriving in a terrible economy because small businesses are able to do what we do, which is help people every single day in the community, day after day, week after week, and show up for them. And so you showing up for us by continuing these tax cuts is exactly what we need.
Granite State small business owners agree. Renew the Tax Cuts and Jobs Act.